Okay, this video we're going to talk about how to make a fraction strip. So if you have received the package sent from me, you should have the papers looks like this. It's like 7 or 8 different color of the pre-cut papers. So we are going to use this paper to create your own fraction strip. So I strongly recommend you to have this ready before starting the activity because we are going to use this fraction strip for the entire fraction activity. So if we don't have a package, you can just use the regular letter size paper and then cut it out in the kind of lengthy, like this side like that. Then you can kind of follow with me. So you just whatever size doesn't matter. You need to have 7 or 8 different color, or the same color is fine, but same size 7 strips. Be able to create your fraction strip. So it's okay. You can use any letter size paper, ruled paper, doesn't matter. So please have these strips ready so you can follow the activity because we are going to use these fraction strips for the fraction activity. Okay. So if you have not ready, please stop this video and have this ready in front of you. Be able to follow the instruction. Okay. Okay. So color doesn't matter, it's your choice, but I gave you one strip with name one whole, so we are going to use this as my one whole to define the other piece in here, okay? Because in fraction, size can be relative depending on what's your one whole. So we are going to use this strip as your one whole. That's the important part, okay? So pick any color you wanna make. And then I want to create one half. So this is a good conversation, good discussion in your classroom. You can make your own class set of fraction strip, and you can have a lot of good discussion in your classroom, conceptual understanding of fraction. So that's a good way to do it. And kids can bring this fraction strip, be able to use the activity and solve the problem. So I'm going to demonstrate how we can do it. So pick any color. Doesn't matter what color you want to do. I want to create a half. So you can ask your students, does anybody know what a half means? And can anybody tell me how we can make a half using this strip? And I'm pretty sure some of the kids already know how to create a half. So how can you create a half using one whole? So I'm going to have one, I'm going to have this one. And how can I make one half? Yes, I'm going to fold in half, right? And cut in the middle. That's going to be my one half, right? So can you make your one half now? So I'm going to have my one half here. Okay. And you can write it down the name one half because they need to have the name in here. They need to know how to read the fraction too. So 1 over b, 1 over 2, and we read 1 half, right? So this is 1 half. So how many halves are in my one whole? Okay, I have 1 half and 2 halves. So I'm going to have 2 halves will make my one whole. So there are 2 groups of 1 half is in my one whole. So you can talk about those things too. Okay, let's move to next one. I'm going to use 1 half piece to create another fraction strip. Can anybody tell me what can we make? Yes, we can make 1/4. Can anybody tell me how we can make 1/4? So I'm going to have 1/4 means I have 4 groups of 1/4. 4 groups of same size piece in my one whole. That's the 1/4. 1 divided into 4 sections. So I'm gonna have, if I have this half in here, and if I cut this in half, and if I cut this one more time into half, each half will create 2 pieces. So I'm going to 1, 2, and I'm going to have 4 halves in here. So you can talk about this, and then you can also make your 1/4. Okay, and you also need to show them how we write fraction. Okay. So far so good? Okay, so we make 1 whole, 1 half, and 1/8. So using one fourth, sorry, can you make another piece? Yes, I can create 1/8. So if we want to, you can do it, but I'm not going to do it. But you can create 1/8 if you want to for your problems. But kids can make 1/8 if we want. You can move forward to do that. So even numbers are relatively easy because I can start from half and I can keep going to make fourth and make eighth. So you can do that. So now let's talk about odd number. For example, 1/3. So third, how can you make a 1/3? So maybe kids can use the paper folding to make a 1/3, but maybe like this. But considering their fine motor skill, maybe not easy for them to do it compared to half and fourth. So you may want to think about that pre-cut line to give them the pre-cut line like this. So this is what I do. I always give them the line in here. I try to give them the line in the middle so kids can see them. This is 1/3. All they need to do is cut it out, the dotted line, and write down the name. Because odd number is relatively difficult than even number. So this is 1/3. So you can, using rulers, you can, draw the line before cutting the strip, and you can pass out to the students. So kids can see this is 1/3. Okay, so here's my pre-made 1/3 in here. Okay, this is my 1/3. Okay, good. So I have 1/2, 1/4, 1/8, and 1/3, and I want to make 1/6. Can I make 1/6? How can I make 1/6? Yes, 1/6 I can make using 1/3. So they can create another 1/3 like this, and they can cut it out this first and cut it into half. That is going to be 1/3. Okay, so I'm gonna make 1/6. Okay, you can keep going, so you can have a whole set of fraction there. So now for the activity, I want to make 1/5. So 1/5 is kind of more challenging because 1/3 they might try to fold it 1/3. I think they can do it that way. But 1/5 maybe is very difficult. Very difficult. So I usually give them a pre-cut line like this. Do you see here? 1/5 and on the line there. So all they need to do is just cut it out. So kids can see them. They don't need to worry about it has to be equal in size all the time. So you can give this one, that one. So kids can just cut it out and add to their collection. Okay. Now I just filled out all the missing pieces, 1/8 and 1/6 in here. So I have a whole complete set. 1 whole, 1/2, 1/4, 1/8, 1/3, 1/6, and 1/5. So this is all you need to have to complete the activity and answer the questions and working on the problem. 1/8 is kind of optional, but we are definitely going to use all other pieces for the problem. So I strongly recommend you to make your own set. And also, you can talk about a lot of different things in here. So how many 1/2s in my 1 whole? We mentioned that we have 2 1/2s. So you can think about the division problem. So how many groups of 1/2 we can fit in 1 whole? My answer is 1/2. Same thing in here. How many 1/4 can fit into 1 whole? How many groups of 1/4 can I fit into my 1 whole? We talk about the measurement types of division. We know number in each group, but we don't figure out number of groups. We want to figure out number of groups. How many 1/4 can fit into 1 whole? Same thing in here. So how many 1/5 can we fit into 1 whole? I have 5 groups of 1/5. It's going to fit my 1 whole. So those kind of things kids can see and visualize what fraction means in front of them. So it's going to be a good tool for them to use to learn fraction concept. Okay, good. And now are you ready to use these strips to learn fraction? Yes!